Well, we work on stormwater management, and that involves everything from seeing how polluted the water is to really the main focus would be trying to find ways to clean it up. When we build an urban landscape, parking lots, rooftops, driveways, compacted yards, we do those things, we have a number of impacts. One is we flood more. Basically, we produce more runoff, and that water will collect and flood people's properties. If it's a big enough storm, it will flood out streets, and that happens quite a bit. So that's an issue. And then the second issue that's out there is the amount of nutrients that's in that runoff. And there's a lot of nitrogen that's, for example, atmospherically deposited because we drive so much, and that stuff, the nitrogen leaves the tailpipe and then comes back down in the rain. And so we have to pull that nitrogen and that phosphorus out of the water to the best we can. I focus on water sustainability, and that has a number of sort of facets. One is literally water supplies and water sources. And so the idea of looking at alternative water sources is a big thing for North Carolina, and we've done a lot of research in that with rainwater harvesting systems. So that's part of water sustainability, is coming up with local supplies of water without having to dip into our groundwater or our reservoirs. But another part of sustainability is looking at the natural environment. What should it be like? All right? Are there certain creatures and plants that should be living in our streams, in our reservoirs, in our estuaries? And are we doing a good job of keeping that flora and fauna healthy and present, alive? And the ways that we try to fix that are also with practices such as this pond that's behind me, where we can clean the runoff. This water has copper and zinc and pathogens. Water that's hot because it's come off heated parking lots. Water that has a lot of nitrogen and phosphorus in it. And what type of systems can we put in the ground to try to take that temperature out, try to reduce the flooding associated with the built-up environment, try to sequester those nutrients and those metals? What can we do to put, what can we put in the ground to mitigate that? And that's really what a lot of the sustainability focus that we have associated here at NC State. We look at things like permeable pavement, like rain gardens or bioretention cells, like constructed stormwater wetlands, innovations to wet ponds, putting floating islands on wet ponds, green roofs, even again rainwater harvesting. Those are all technologies that can be utilized across the state for a number of different goals to meet a number of different benefits, reducing temperature, taking out nitrogen, reducing flooding. And that's part of the sustainability initiative that we have. Not every practice is appropriate everywhere. Cost is an important facet. All right, how much does one practice cost vis-a-vis other practices? And we do a lot of work in looking into the relative cost benefits of each of these systems. We need to make sure that the system, once it goes in the ground, is going to work for a 30 or 40-year life, and that means there's a maintenance cost. And factoring that maintenance, those maintenance needs and the costs associated with it into that sort of sustainability equation is very important. And that's one of the things that we do research and extension on here at NC State. And that's actually a very vital link between the campus, bio and ag engineering, and then a lot of our field agents in the counties that we work with that have that hands-on experience with maintenance and keeping our practices up and running. It's kind of like right practice, right place. You're not going to put a pond in downtown Durham, but on that American Tobacco campus, you might put a green roof on it, all right? You're not going to put a big wetland in downtown Charlotte, but you might be able to harvest water off the rooftop of the convention center and use it to flush the toilets. Different practices have different places. Our job is to look at all this the whole palette of practices, look to see how well those systems work, and then provide some cost and maintenance information so that the design community and the regulatory community and the permit reviewers that say work with cities can make those decisions. And so we provide the information that allows the private sector and the public sector to make the most economical choice and still arrive at the same environmentally protective goal.